This is Patricia. Patricia has had a weird day and an even weirder night. She's the latest in a series I've been painting of women characters I find visually inspiring. Patricia is the fifth in my series of ladies, and she's the first one from any recent media that's made the cut. If you haven't yet watched Widow's Bay from Apple TV, you should probably stop this video and go watch it now.
You tried to tell her.
You had your qualms. Why didn't you say anything?
You told me to be supportive.
I love this character and I love this scene. I love the actor and the costume and the whole show. This composition will be made up of different colors of glass, so I have to design it in a way that the glass can actually be cut. These pink lines that you see here are the cut lines where the glass pieces will be held together with lead. Because the original image is so dim and was on a TV screen, I went through first and did some touching up. When I had the image the way I wanted it, I inked in the lines of light and shadow, just because I know it's going to be hard to discern where those are exactly when I'm trying to paint it onto stained glass. I started this painting in my usual way using glass paint mixed with water and gum arabic. I tend to do washes of color and then pull out the highlights, increasing depth and color as I go. That was fine, but I wasn't really getting the high contrast, dramatic lighting I was hoping for. And as you can see, depending on the lighting behind the piece, it can look really different, bright or dark. So at this point, I switched over to using oil paint instead of water-based paint. Oil has a lot of advantages in that you can do really subtle gradients and add a lot of depth and make things really smooth. The only reason I haven't been using oil until now is that the primary oil that's used for glass painting is lavender oil or clove oil, and the smell of those is just so strong that it irritates my sinuses. Recently, a teacher of mine introduced me to copaiba oil, which does not have much of an odor, and this is the first time I'm using it on one of my own pieces. Well, the advantage to oil painting is the subtle gradations you can get. The pitfall is that things can get really muddy really quickly. You'll see that I go back through repeatedly here, take out areas of paint for highlights, clean it up. If you're not careful, it can turn into one big mushy blur. I'm also glad that I had the initial design already laid out in water-based paint and fired onto the glass. I'll apply the paint with an oily brush here, and then I'll take a dry brush and blend it around. Then I'll take another dry brush and remove the paint for the highlights, and then for the really important areas like the whites of her eyes and her teeth, I'll go through with a Q-tip and some alcohol and completely remove the oil paint from those areas. Back and forth, repeat again and again. I did spend a lot of time and layers on Patricia, but we can't forget about these guys. They are the Greek chorus to Patricia's tragedy, Bashir and Rosemary. I wanted them to be part of the scene, but on a different plane, kind of like they're just a dream. They're looking a bit rough to start with, so I wanted to spend some time refining them and making them more blurred out. So for this, I went back to water-based paint. It's easy to get good dark coverage with water-based paint, and these guys are going to be way more shadow than light. Getting a good red tone with glass paint is always difficult. If you can use red glass instead of red paint, you should, but in the nick of time, I got this new enamel, which is a brighter red than any of the other reds that I've used before. And with that, I think the painting part of this story is done. This next part isn't nearly as much fun, but it's necessary, and making a solidly constructed window is just as important as making a beautiful window. There's different techniques to assemble stained glass windows. Which way you do it depends on your preference and the needs of the window itself, how stable it needs to be, how large it will be, etc. A lot of people use the copper foil method for smaller windows, but I, in general, prefer to work with lead. Lead is sold in strips with channels that wrap around the edges of the glass. You need to fit it very closely against the edges of the glass in order to not have any gaps. Lead is a soft metal, but it is still a metal, and there is some wrestling with it to get the pieces to fit tightly together. I'm using this wooden board to keep all the pieces in place as I move on to leading the next piece. The little nails are called horseshoe nails, and they're a pretty traditional tool for keeping your glass in place while you work. You shouldn't actually have metal touching the glass because it could break, so these little blue plastic stops sit between the glass and the nails. Breaking glass is a risk in every step of this process. Sometimes it's a big risk depending on how much work you've already put into it or how difficult the glass itself is to get. But even with that risk, I will use a rubber mallet to gently fit the pieces into place. Sometimes they just need a little nudge. Leading itself can be an art form, but I would not really say it's my specialty. After you've cut all the lead, you need to solder the joints to keep the lead all together. Once I'm done soldering everything on this side, I'll flip the whole thing over and solder all the joints on the reverse side. I'm also going to be adding a zinc border to the outside to finish the piece. Please forgive the quality of this next clip. It was getting late and I just wanted to be done. This is also my least favorite part of the process. It's called mudding or cementing the glass, and what I'm doing is I'm putting a sticky glazing putty between the lead channels and the glass by smearing it all over and then using a brush to put it in the space between the channels. This acts as insulation that keeps the weather out and the glass in place. After the cement has had a chance to set for a day or two, I'll go through and scrape away any excess here and make sure the lines are all clean. My final step, and this is optional, is putting a patina on the lead. I like the lead lines and solder to just fade into the background, so I make them as dark as I can. I use a black chemical patina. Some people don't do this because they like the metal bright, and others will do a patina with something altogether different like copper. Most regular glass is not sensitive to the chemicals used in patinas, but painted glass can get surface discoloration if the patina comes in contact with it, and that's why I'm using a really fine tip swab to apply it only to the lead. And here is Patricia. I love her. For me, she's the patron saint of badass women who have been overlooked. I plan to keep making more video content, so please like and subscribe if you're interested. If you're interested in painting with water as a medium, check out this video below. Thank you for watching.
This is the rhythm of the night.